FlightAC222 on Friday the 28th of July 2017. And I have to thank the captain of this plane for his quick response to abort the takeoff at the last second that made us safe. I'll explain in this video what happened, and I am ever so glad. There's a couple scenarios that I believe could have happened, and I verified it with a pilot on the ground last night. Today is the 1st of August. Understood from the pilot is that the computer generated an error on the rudder, which means the computer thought the rudder was straight for takeoff, but it actually had a pitch to it, and the pitch to the rudder was either to turn left or turn right. The picture we see here shows the rudder in various positions, left, right, and center, and the effect it has on the fuselage or the plane. Once it is airborne, it'll either turn right, turn left, or go straight if it is set straight. Now this is the typical setting. Typical effect of the rudder position in terms of, if we turn left, the plane would roll left or tip over, whereby one wing is higher than the other, or if we roll right, the left wing will be higher than the right wing, or banking, or if we go straight, both are level. Was that the rudder had an error on it, and to turn left or turn right when the computer thought that the rudder is straight on. As soon as the plane gets airborne, it's going to try to turn right or turn left, and there are two scenarios. We could either turn right with banking, which is typical, or turn left with banking in the opposite direction, or we could turn right with no banking at all. Taking a look at this picture, I have lines with different colors showing the rudder positions for typical response of the airplane for rolling or banking. I believe that this would not have been the typical response for the plane, and when a pilot sees a plane not responding as it should be, especially at quick second thinking while airborne, I think that is a recipe for disaster. So this is Vancouver Airport, where we were taken off from, and we were taken off from the direction nearer to us, heading into the city, and my guess is probably halfway down the runway is when we aborted. Would have happened had we gone airborne with the rudder error. For explanation purposes only, let us consider the rudder was set to turn right. I believe this is what would have happened. Would have happened, could have happened, even should have happened with this error. I don't believe we would have banked, because the computers thinking that the plane should be going straight, rudder should be straight when it wasn't, flaps for takeoff position. I believe we would have turned right without banking, in which case what will happen is, shown below there, the horizontal aircraft would have just slid left. This is like on a bicycle. When we turn right, we lean into the right side and we bank at 45 degrees. But if we stay upright and turn right, we'll just fall over this side, we'll slip over to the left. The pilot, in turn, would see his plane turning right, and his reaction is to turn left with banking, which shows the bottom picture there with the arrow. The left wing is lower, and the plane will start to slide left, because that's just the physics of it. He should be banking right if he's turning right, but he's going to react and bank left. This is a recipe for disaster. where the plane just slips out of the sky and slides out or slides left and he's lost control. I spoke to a pilot last night and she said that is a recipe for disaster, and it would most likely end in disaster, because when a plane does not respond to the way it's supposed to respond, that's pretty bad. Here's the other scenario. We're turning right and this is what's supposed to happen. The plane would bank to the right, and if this happens upon takeoff, the right wing would touch the ground, and again we have a recipe for disaster. Airport. We were on the ground for about 45 minutes and I guess the airport was shut down. The reason is, to stop an aircraft of that size in less than half the runway, the brakes overheated and they had to come out and examine the wheels, make sure no tires popped, and basically they reloaded the software on the computer, which then I started to get a little bit concerned, or quite concerned, because if the software was glitched, it could have been that the hardware glitched it, hardware failure, a memory failure, non-volatile memory not performing, and to send us up back in the air, whatever caused the software to glitch could have done it again. This was irresponsible, I thought. From Vancouver, we took off to Calgary, where the flight went well and it landed. Strangely enough, the captain turned off the engines really quickly before we could get ground connection. In the next video, you will see my recording of the cabin crew telling us to exit the plane in the dark safely. So we exited the plane in total darkness.
Hello, gentlemen. Sorry for the just when we lost ground power now after they turned off the engines. Please be safe when exiting the aircraft. The door has opened. We'll try to get the lights on as soon as possible. Thanks.
As long as we have reached, okay.
Where's the emergency lights?